on, don't lie, I'm sure you'd love to dive through those white fluffy clouds and into the town of Springfield, even if it's just for one day. You could watch an Isotopes game, say hello to a poo whilst grabbing a squishy, and even take a ride on the escalator to nowhere.
Whoa! Ah!
Well, in 1997, you could have experienced a little slice of the Simpsons' life by living in the Simpsons house for real. Yes, really. I'm Lydia from the Simpsons Theory, diving into what happened to the real Simpsons house.
Alright, so if you're getting ready to do some pruning, there's a couple of tools that are really useful. So this is a professional arborist pruning saw. It's made by Silky. Silky makes fantastic saws. You should clean off the blade with some bleach so you're not transmitting bacterial vectors. Trees can catch a cold similar to humans. Bacteria can cause problems and you don't want to pass it from tree to tree. So a nice sharp pruning saw is great. Also pass-through pruners. There's little hand ones where the blades actually pass through each other so it doesn't just come to a stop. It actually pushes through. Like if you look at this here, this blade doesn't stop where it meets that, it passes all the way through. So it's called a pass-through pruner. They tend to make cleaner cuts and leave less tear out. You want some good pass-through pruners, whether it's by hand or the loppers, or this one, which is actually on a pole, which is great for grabbing tips from way up in the tree. So those are your primary pruning tools. If you need to cut something big and fast, you can use a chainsaw, but you want to make sure that you make your first cut away from the branch collar so that in case it peels out a little bit, you won't have a big scar down the side of your tree. So you make your first cut out a little ways from the branch collar, and then you flush it with the chainsaw afterward. And that'll get you a long way when it comes time to go pruning. So let's go check out the tree over here that we're going to do some work on.
Mammoth Cave National Park is located in central Kentucky, and it's both a national park and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The park features the longest cave system in the world with over 400 miles of caves that they're continuously adding to as they explore more. Amy and I visited in January of 2020, so the information in this video could be outdated, but I'm trying to make a video on every national park in the United States, and I really wanted to encourage you to get out and explore this one, even if it's a little bit different than what I saw. I've been in a lot of caves, and this is easily one of the best I've ever seen. Be sure to check it out if you're in the area. Here's all the information. The park is located about an hour and a half north of Nashville or an hour and a half south of Louisville. We made it into the park right next to the welcome sign, but we gotta go all the way up here to the visitor center to start our tour.
Today we're barbecuing chicken. Now this recipe isn't fancy, but it's a recipe that I grew up on. We would take all the different cuts of chicken, the legs, the thighs, the breasts, the wings, get some good seasoning on them, get them on a hot grill in some smoke, and at the very end we'd caramelize a sauce on the outside. It's really outstanding barbecue chicken, and that's what I'm going to show you how to cook today. Let's get to cooking. So the first thing we're going to do today is make up a quick rub for our barbecue chicken. I'm going to use my AP seasoning as a base, but to that I'm also adding some other ingredients. I've got some chili powder, some cumin, some cayenne, some onion, and some paprika for a little bit of color, and I've also got a little bit of sugar to balance it out. I'm just going to take about half a cup of my AP, and what we're going to do is just mix all this together, just get it all incorporated, and then we're going to put it back in that shaker, and we're going to be ready to season this chicken. So now I got the chicken spread out here on the cutting board. We're ready to put the seasoning to it. And I'm going to hit both sides with our chicken rub that we made up. And I don't know if you could put too much on it. I'm going pretty heavy because we're going to mop some of this off as it cooks. We're going to season one side, and then we're going to flip the pieces over, and we're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. And then I'm going to move it to a platter so we can get it all on the pit.
Coming to you from Clear Lake, Iowa. In early February 1959, a tragic event that changed history took place in this small community. The day the music died. Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, and J.P. Richardson, known as the Big Bopper, perished in a plane crash just on the outskirts of town after playing a show about a third of the way through their scheduled tour. I want to retrace the steps of that fateful day. Join me. shall you? On February 2nd, the entertainers would have made their way through downtown, about to arrive at the 11th night of the tour's venue, right here at the Surf Ballroom, which all these years later still holds its very vintage-esque look. And they have erected this structure, a memorial to those that passed. Not only the performers that took the stage inside, but also the pilot who also passed away on that small airplane.
Arthritis of the fingers. Diagnosing arthritis of the fingers can be difficult. Arthritis can affect any joint in the body, but it is commonly seen in the joints of the fingers. These are the different types of arthritis and the pattern of joint involvement: osteoarthritis, psoriatic arthritis, gouty arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. Osteoarthritis of the fingers are characterized by Heberden nodes. Heberden nodes are hard or bony swellings that can develop in the distal interphalangeal joints, the DIP, and may or may not be painful. The Heberden nodes are caused by the formation of osteophytes due to repeated trauma at the joint and usually occurs during middle age. Bouchard's nodes. Bouchard's nodes are bony growths that can form on the proximal interphalangeal joints of the fingers, which is the PIP. Bouchard's nodes, like Heberden's nodes, may or may not be painful. Bouchard's nodes are typically associated with limited motion of the affected joint. And mucus cyst, small fluid-filled sacs that form between the DIP joint of the finger and the bottom of the fingernail. The best treatment of mucus cyst is surgical excision of the cyst and removal of the underlying osteophyte to decrease the risk of recurrence.